Welcome back to Always Be Cooking. Today we're doing letter C for Cuba. And this is actually one of my favorite recipes. This is my go-to recipe when I'm having people over. It's very simple. It's not difficult or anything strange in it. It's super easy and you will love it. And I'm pretty sure the kids will love it too, but we'll have to see at the end. First thing what we're gonna do is make Cuban pulled pork, which is my daughter, which I love. Okay, so first of all, what we're gonna do is make a delicious pulled pork. So we have a 3.5 kilo, or it's like 8-pound bone-in shoulder of a pig, and we're gonna cover that with mojo sauce and slow cook it in an oven, and then we're gonna take it out of the Dutch oven and bake it up so it gets nice and crispy, so when you pull it apart, you're gonna have nice chewy bits and crunchy bits. It's gonna be delicious. You know, it's a citrus, it's amazing. And then we're gonna do some black beans, Cuban style black beans, and white rice. So the meal is beans and rice and Cuban pulled pork. It is amazing, so stay tuned.
Next, grate some citrus zest. I like to use orange, lemon, and lime, mix it together. I personally like the taste. You could just put in lemon or lime zest, whatever you'd like. Next, take some salt and mix it with your garlic and your comically small mortar and pestle and mash it together to make a nice paste. Then you're going to want to put that in about a half a cup of olive oil to let it soak up and absorb those flavors. Next, you can juice the lemons and the limes and the orange. You want about a cup of orange juice, half a cup of lemon juice, half a cup of lime juice. Then mix with some fresh herbs such as oregano and cilantro, and then just marinate.
Okay, so after you've made your mojo, what you do is you marinate your pork overnight for at least 12 hours. So if you want to come close and see this, you see that it's filled with herbs and citrus. Normally I would put it in a gallon plastic bag, like a Ziploc bag, so the marinade can be completely around the pork the entire night. For some reason my gallon Ziploc bag kept leaking, so I just put it in this and flipped it out a few times. So we're going to cook this in 2 stages. The first stage is a slow cook. So what we're going to do is put it in a Dutch oven, or if you don't have a Dutch oven, you can even just put it on a baking sheet with tin foil around it. And we're going to slow cook it at a very low heat, 275 degrees, for about 3 hours. And then after the 3 hours, we're going to put up the heat and take off the cover. So we'll come back in 3 hours after this. Now that the pork is in the oven, slow cooking away, we're going to start on the beans. What I have here is just generic black beans. Normally, I get dried beans, soak them overnight, and then slow cook them a bit. But like a doofus, I forgot to. So I just went out and I got 4 cans of about 500 milliliter black beans. So that's 2 liters of black beans. Or for our American friends that are stuck in the Stone Age, like 80 ounces. 80 ounces. We got about 2 medium Spanish onions and 2 green peppers. As you notice, they're about equal amounts. We got about a cup of dry Spanish wine. Then we have our garlic mixed with salt. That's about half a clove. And then I just mix some spices together. Equal parts pepper, cumin, and oregano. Just about a teaspoon and a half of each. Just keep them around the same. And a couple bay leaves. That's all we're gonna need. And right at the very end, we put in a little bit of white sugar. So let's get started. So first of all, what we're gonna do is we're gonna take our onions and our green pepper. We're gonna wait till this pan gets a little bit warmer here, and then we're going to put them in and cook them till they're translucent. So we're not caramelizing these, we're not cooking them down, we're just sweating them a little bit, getting them to turn translucent. So what we're gonna do now is try to cook this down a bit to get rid of some of the volume and turn the onions translucent. We don't want to go so far as to get them brown, but just till they get clear. So it should be about 10 or 12 minutes.
30 seconds to the end, put in your garlic. Now you don't want to burn it, just saute it quickly, get it nice and fragrant. Then you can dump your beans in. Just stir it up, make sure it's all well mixed, and then we're going to add our red wine, the spices, and water. And I overfilled it a little bit here, but you do want to give it quite a bit of water because it's going to simmer down quite a bit. Bring the mixture to a boil, then turn down the heat to its lowest setting and let it just slowly simmer for at least an hour. After 3 hours, pull the pork out of the oven. Now you can see it's been in the Dutch oven slow cooking at 275. Now we want to take it out, baste it, and put it on a cookie sheet or a wire rack, something that it can breathe on the bottom would be preferable so that you can get air underneath it. Now we're going to rebake it again after we baste it a few times. We'll put it back in the oven, this time at 325 degrees Fahrenheit. And we're going to do that for another 3 hours at least. And every 30 minutes we want to do just what we're doing now, is basting it. I'm taking some of the herbs off the top just so they don't get burnt. But after this, I'll just baste it even with the herbs and the garlic on it, and it'll make a very nice crust. So that when you pull it, you're going to get some crunchy bits. Next, we're going to rinse our rice. If you're from Asia or you're familiar with Asian cooking, you know that this is so important. A lot of times in the West, we just tend to, throw rice on the stove. You'll notice that it's all milky. You want to clean that off 2 or 3 times. After the pork is finished, you'll want to take it out of the oven. Let it rest for about 10 to 15 minutes, and then you can pull it apart with a pair of forks or tongs.
Good. I like the beans.
How is it, Ferguson?
Good.
Good. Like it?
It's meat and beans.
Well, would you rather have a hot dog or that?
Both, I think. I'll try this first. That's good. I like it. It's good. They're both good. Do you like it or not? Like it? Eat it. It looks like she likes it. Good meat. Who doesn't like meat? She's like, I don't want it. I don't want it.
So the children loved it. So we're going to give this 5 out of 5 rubber duckies. So don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Tap that notification bell. It'll give you an email or a notice whenever we drop a new video. Liking and subscribing really does help us out, so we appreciate it. Thanks a lot, and see you next week for D, when we learn about Denmark and we make some smørrebrød sandwiches.
I feel like, just quick director note, don't do letters anymore, because every letter is this. That's all you do. Okay. You don't give any attempt. It'll be like, well, today's letter is X. Like, it's just like, let's let us see. No, but